Hey, what's going on, people? It's been a while. I thought I'd make another video talking about another sort of transformation that I'll be going through, except this time it's not another hair transplant. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I've got something going on with my teeth there. It's Invisalign. So this time I'll be making videos talking about my transformation in terms of getting my teeth straightened. I think I might have mentioned it in one of my previous videos where I was talking about the possibility of maybe getting veneers or something like that at some point. But after doing some research, I decided sort of against it, and I've gone down the Invisalign route. So yeah, I've got my Invisalign on right now. I don't know if you can tell. Got those elastic bands, I've got the trays, got everything. So yeah, it's going to be a long journey, but I feel like this is the best option for me. Like after doing some research about veneers and stuff, I've decided on getting Invisalign. And in this video, I'll be talking about exactly why I chose that instead of getting veneers. And I'll just talk you through the process of getting veneers and just my overall experience just over the last couple of weeks, since I only got it done about 2 weeks ago. Yeah man, so I might kind of ramble in this video since, you know, it's kind of like an ADHD thing and I haven't got like a script in front of me or anything like that. So yeah, I'll try and put some chapters in this video so you can skip ahead if you want to. But yeah, so let's begin. So currently I am back in Southeast Asia. I've just spent like the last year and a bit over in South America, but now I'm back in Southeast Asia again. And when I arrived here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, I ended up going to a dental clinic just to get a checkup and also get my teeth cleaned. And I noticed that I was getting a couple of cavities in my teeth which I wanted to get sorted. Now these cavities weren't caused by bad oral hygiene or anything like that. Basically over the last few years I started using a hard bristle toothbrush just because I thought that it would clean my teeth better. Obviously I was wrong, and what actually happened is that hard bristle toothbrush damaged my teeth. It caused me to have some cavities along the gum line. So just under my gums I had like these horizontal scratch marks which were caused by that hard bristle toothbrush, and it got to a point where it was starting to cause me some sensitivity, and for the first time in my life I started using Sensodyne toothpaste. So yeah, anyway, when I arrived in Kuala Lumpur, I went to the dentist, talked about it, and she said straight away, as soon as she saw it, she was like, yeah, these are self-inflicted cavities. So I asked her if this could be caused by using a hard bristle toothbrush, and she said yeah, definitely, and she recommended that I use a soft bristle toothbrush from now on. But anyway, so whilst I was there, I got my fillings done, I got my teeth cleaned and polished, and for the first time actually they use this thing called an EMS airflow thing. It's like a mixture of air and water that cleans your teeth instead of using those like metallic things that they use to scrape your teeth and stuff like that. And this was so much better. Every time I go now to get my teeth cleaned, I'm only ever going to get that EMS airflow, and I highly recommend it. Not all dental clinics have them, but if you have like a dental clinic near you where they have that EMS airflow technology, definitely take advantage of it, because it's, in my opinion, in my experience, it's been so much better, and it feels a lot better as well. Like I used to hate getting my teeth cleaned just because of that scraping sound and that scraping sensation of when they used to like scrape your teeth and stuff. I used to really hate it, but now with this EMS airflow thing, it's so much better. It's a lot more comfortable, it's painless. It's quite noisy, so you kind of have to get used to the noise, but overall I just found it to be so much better, so much more comfortable. So yeah, from now on, every time I go to the dentist to get my teeth cleaned, I'm only ever going to use that EMS airflow thing. But anyway, so yeah, I got my teeth cleaned and polished. I got my cavities sorted out by getting fillings. I also got my teeth whitened. And here in Kuala Lumpur, the whole cost was about 488 ringgits. I'll put what that is in pounds and US dollars right here. But anyway, so after I got all that done, I had a consultation with the dentist, because obviously I was thinking about getting my teeth sorted, but I wasn't really sure which route to go down. I wasn't really sure whether it would be best to get veneers or like crowns and stuff, or whether it would be better to get some sort of braces or Invisalign. I got a consultation and she recommended that I go for the Invisalign just because of the situation that I was in. First of all, I'm a digital nomad, so I travel around a lot from different countries, and the good thing about Invisalign is you don't need to visit the dentist as much as you do if you're having like traditional metal braces. which is good for me because even though I'm currently in Kuala Lumpur, I don't live here. So I'll spend basically around 5 to 6 months of the year here while spending the rest of the time in other countries. So for me, it was perfect to get Invisalign. And the reason why I didn't opt to go for the veneer route is because basically I've got like crowding in my bottom teeth, and to get veneers it just wouldn't be possible because of the crowding that I have. So what they would have had to do was to get crowns. I didn't like the idea of that because it meant that they would have had to shave my teeth down to like little picks and then put the crowns over the top. And basically my teeth are healthy, even though they're crowded, they're healthy, and I didn't like the idea of getting my teeth shaved down to little picks. You know, I wanted to try and preserve my teeth as much as possible. With my top teeth, I actually have one tooth missing right here. So right here is supposed to be a lateral incisor. So if you look at your teeth, you're supposed to have 2 central incisors, 2 lateral incisors, and 2 canines. Well, I've got my canines, I've got my central incisors, but I've only got 1 lateral incisor. And that one is quite small. It didn't grow to full length, as you can see here. In between my central incisor and my canine, there was supposed to be a lateral incisor right here. But as you can see, it's not there. Like, I was just born that way. Like, apparently, like, I think it's like 5 to 10% of people in the world are born like that. And some people are actually born with both of their lateral incisors missing. So this is one of these people right here. As you can see, it's Kano. He's a UK rapper as well as an actor. He was in Top Boy. And he has both of his lateral incisors missing. And this is Ronaldo. And he was actually in the same sort of situation that I'm in right now. So he was also born with 1 lateral incisor missing. And if you see pictures of him when he first joined Man United, you can see how his teeth used to look. They kind of resembled mine a little bit because he also had that 1 lateral incisor missing. And he ended up getting braces. And basically what happened was the braces that he used, they pushed his teeth to either side to create a gap. And then he had an implant put in, like a fake lateral incisor. And then after that, he got veneers. And now his smile looks obviously much, much better. So basically that's the other reason why I didn't want to get veneers, because even though they could have made my teeth look better, my central line would have still been kind of off because of that missing tooth. What they would have done was they would have substituted one of my canines, like this one right here. They would have made that to look like a lateral incisor by reshaping it, but it still wouldn't have looked perfect just because this canine incisor that I've got, it's quite chunky. So even if they were to reshape it to make it look like a lateral incisor, it wouldn't have looked quite the same, especially in comparison to my other lateral incisor right here, which is smaller. Now obviously they would have been able to put in like a veneer over the top of it, but the space right here is quite limited, so it still would have been smaller than this one right here. And my central line would have still been kind of off. So yeah, basically that's the reason why I ended up going for the Invisalign route. Because I just thought for me, in my situation that I was in, that was going to be the best possible route to go down to get a nice smile. So after having my consultation at the dental clinic, I decided to go ahead with the Invisalign. So the next step was that we were going to have to get my x-rays done, just to make sure that my teeth are healthy enough and everything to get the Invisalign. And then after the x-rays, they did like a full 3D scan. They used this like handheld 3D scanner to scan all the way around my teeth. And everything was good. I got the all clear and I was able to go ahead with the Invisalign. But one thing that the dentist did see when I had my x-rays done was that there was some recession in the jawbone that attaches to my teeth. And basically this happened like some years ago when I wasn't taking great care of my teeth as I am now. Basically for a long time I wasn't flossing my teeth and I was only brushing my teeth like once a day. And what happened was some calculus started to build up behind my front teeth, top and bottom. And that calculus ended up causing gingivitis to the point where every time I would brush my teeth, my gums would start bleeding. And then that would cause some form of gum disease. But fortunately I went to the dentist soon enough before the problem could progress further. And they ended up getting my teeth cleaned. They scraped away all the tartar and everything, the calculus, and I was given this like mouthwash and everything. And yeah, I mean, it was an uncomfortable experience, that's for sure, but it needed to be done. And ever since then, I was taking really good care of my teeth. I've been using an electric toothbrush at least twice a day. I've been flossing twice a day. and using mouthwash and all that. So ever since then, everything's been great. There's been no further gum or jawbone recession. So yeah, that's a good tip for you lot. Like, make sure you take great care of your teeth. Always floss, always brush your teeth at least twice a day. If you notice you have some gum recession, it might not be just the gums, it might be the actual bone underneath your gums that's actually receding. So yeah, definitely check with your dentist, get a checkup, get your teeth cleaned regularly, like once or twice a year at least. And yeah, just don't do what I did, basically. Take better care of your teeth. And also, like I mentioned before, don't use a hard bristle toothbrush. Always use like a softer bristle toothbrush, because that way you won't damage your teeth. Yeah, so anyway, after I got my x-rays and my 3D scans, I got the all clear from my dentist. That was good enough to go ahead with the procedure and everything. They went away and created the Invisalign plan for me. And then they actually showed it to me. They actually created a 3D render of my teeth and showed me what my Invisalign journey would look like. And this is a video of that, basically. So we'll start off with my top teeth. And this is what my Invisalign journey is actually going to look like, hopefully, if everything goes well. So this is exactly what my teeth look like now. And as you can see, they're moving and creating that gap between my incisors and my canines. And then they're going to put in that fake tooth, that's going to be basically an implant. So that grayed out tooth that you can see, that's going to be an implant. So if we just go back and look at what it looks like in slow motion, you can kind of see how my teeth are going to shift little by little, like every month, basically. So overall, my top teeth aren't too bad. It's just that I've got a tooth missing, and also my central incisor, like one of them, kind of sticks out a little bit more than the other one. But apart from that, everything's pretty good. So yeah, like with my top teeth, all they need to do is just create enough space to put in that implant, basically, and that's about it. So now with my bottom teeth, you can see the crowding that's going on, and it's mainly just with my front teeth. Apart from my front teeth, everything looks pretty normal. But anyway, so they're gonna kind of expand my bottom jaw to kind of create enough space to shift my teeth in order for them to not be any crowding, basically. So this is what that's gonna look like right now. So you can see my teeth just being shifted little by little into space, and this is what the end result should look like. You can see like everything's pretty much straight. And yeah, I mean, this is going to be a long journey, by the way, so it's not going to be quick. I'm going to have 90 trays at least, so we're talking at least 2 years. And I'm going to have to change my trays every 10 days. Now, some people will change their trays every 7 days. Some people will change their trays every 10 days, like me. And some people will change their trays every 14 days. Everyone's journey is going to be very different. So even if your teeth may resemble mine, don't think automatically that you will also have 90 trays. Like you might only need 50 trays or 60 trays to get your teeth straightened or whatever. Everyone's journey is going to be very different. And I don't know if you've noticed or not, but outside of the trays that I'm wearing right now, I've got these little attachments on my teeth, and I've got about 20 of them. I'll try and show you right now. So these little white attachments that are attached to my teeth, and they basically help my teeth like to rotate and shift them into the correct position. And again, not everyone will need them, but in my case, I do need them, and I've got 20 of them, so it's quite a lot. And in addition to those attachments, I've also got these elastic bands, as you can see there. Now, usually those elastic bands are put on for people who have like bite issues. So if they've got an overbite or an underbite or a crossbite or something like that. I don't have any bite issues, but the way that my teeth are going to be moving, like especially my top teeth, if I don't have those elastic bands, apparently my teeth are going to kind of stick out forwards a little bit. So those elastic bands are there to prevent that from happening. So that's why I need them. But like I said, like everyone's journey is going to be different. So not everyone will need elastic bands. So yeah, I've also got a render of what my teeth should look like after this journey is complete. So as you can see in this mock-up, those little red things are my attachments. And like I said, I've got 20 of them. And that grayed out tooth there that you can see on the left, well, that's the fake tooth that they're going to implant at the end of this whole process. Also, if you can see, my right central incisor is a little bit curved. So at the end of this whole process, I want them to kind of shape that down a little bit just to make it straight so that it looks more like my left one. Also, if you notice, my lateral incisor, the one that I do have, is quite small, so I want them to increase that size as well so that it matches the one that's going to be implanted. But yeah, that should be it, and I think my teeth will look a lot nicer after this whole process is finished. So it looks like it's going to be at least 2 years, but hopefully it will be worth it. So I am currently on tray 2. I've just put my second tray in the other day, like 2 days ago I think it was. And yeah, so far so good, to be honest. I haven't experienced any sort of like pain. I mean, there's been some discomfort and some pressure like in the beginning when I first put the trays on. I wouldn't say it was painful, but I could feel like a little bit of pressure. Also, I noticed that my front teeth were a little bit sensitive, so whenever I would take off my trays, you know, to eat, whenever I would bite into something, even if it was something soft like a burger for example, I would notice some sensitivity in my front teeth, and it was a little bit painful to brush my teeth with an electric toothbrush. So I switched to using this toothbrush which has very fine bristles, and since then everything's been good. But yeah, so I noticed that after the first few days of my first tray, that kind of initial sensitivity that I was experiencing went away, and I barely noticed anything. And also I noticed that in the beginning, taking my top tray off was a little bit difficult. I'm assuming it's because of all the attachments that I've got on. But for whatever reason, like even though I've got attachments on my bottom teeth and my bottom teeth are crowded, the tray was easier to take off than the top one. And actually a couple of days ago when I changed my trays to my second tray, one of the attachments that was on my teeth came off with the tray, and that was something that I wasn't really expecting either. So I kind of did some research into this, and I noticed that some other people were experiencing the same sort of issues where like one or more of their attachments would come off, and that's something that I am kind of worried about a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't happen very often, but now that it has happened, obviously I told my dentist that I'm going to have to go back in to get my attachment put back on. And that's not the only thing that happened. About a week ago, this metal button that attaches my elastic bands, that came off as well whilst I was eating. I was eating something that was a little bit hard, I guess, crispy, and yeah, it came off. So I had to get that reattached, and luckily since then it hasn't come off. But yeah, it is kind of worrying. Like I hope it doesn't happen very often, because at the end of this month I'm going to be leaving the country. I'm going to be going to Vietnam for a few months, so hopefully none of my attachments or button come off whilst I'm there, because yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do if it does. But we'll see anyway. So yeah, I've been watching videos of other people's experiences with Invisalign here on YouTube, and I did notice that some people were complaining about the pain that they've experienced. Unfortunately though, like I haven't really experienced any real pain. Like I said, initially with my first trays at the very beginning, I did notice some sensitivity during those first few days, but that went away quite quickly, like after like day 4 or day 5. I've just switched to tray 2 the other day, and it's been fine. Like I did notice some pressure in the beginning, obviously because they're going to be shifting your teeth, but that's kind of going away now, and I think that over the next couple of days it's going to be less and less as my teeth shift more and more. So yeah, like my overall experience so far has been decent. My only concerns have been with the metal button as well as one of my attachments coming off. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen too often as the time goes on, but we'll see. Like I said before, man, everyone's experience is going to be a little bit different. So I also wanted to talk about oral hygiene whilst wearing Invisalign. So I've been using an electric toothbrush like this, but in the beginning, like I said, because of some sensitivity that I was experiencing in my front teeth during those first few days, I couldn't really use that electric toothbrush because there was some pain there. So I switched to using one of these manual toothbrushes with a very soft bristles, and that seemed to do the trick. Also, I've been flossing continuously. Like every time I take my Invisalign trays off, before I put them back on again, I always like floss and brush my teeth. So along with this regular tooth floss, I use one of these, which is a water flosser, which works really good, especially if you have lots of attachments like me. If you have lots of attachments, I would definitely recommend getting one of these water flossers because it's good at cleaning in between your teeth. But the thing I've noticed that is when you've got a lot of these attachments and buttons and stuff, after you eat, food is going to get in between and around those attachments and buttons. And this water floss is really good at getting that stuff off. Like, as you can see, this is how it works. And my one in particular has like different speeds, so it goes from low to high, and there's about 5 different steps. I usually use the 2nd or 3rd settings on it, and yeah, it works really well. I also use this mouthwash as well. So yeah, that's basically how I keep my teeth clean with Invisalign. And I also just brush my actual Invisalign trays as well, just to make sure that they are kept clean. And yeah, so that's been my journey so far. So in terms of price, because I got my Invisalign here in Malaysia, it's a little bit cheaper than it would have been if I got it done in the UK. So my Invisalign was like a more of a comprehensive package since it's going to be like 90 trays and it's going to be quite a bit of work. So it's going to be more expensive. But like I said, because I'm here in Malaysia, it's still going to be relatively cheap compared to what it would have been in the UK. So I'm paying 15,000 Malaysian ringgits. I think that's around 2,600 to 2,700 British pounds. I'll put down what it would be in US dollars here. I think it's around 3,400 or something like that. But yeah, like this type of comprehensive package in the UK would have been like twice as much probably. So yeah, I'm saving myself a lot of money here. But yeah, like I said, the price is going to be different for everyone. It doesn't just depend on which dental clinic you get them done at. It also depends on how much work you need to get done. So some people will need more work than others because obviously like everyone has different situations going on with their teeth. So yeah, it's going to be different for everyone. But yeah, man, so that's been my experience with Invisalign so far. As I've mentioned before, this is going to be a long journey. I've got at least 90 trays to get through. So I'll probably be making update videos every few months, like maybe every 3 months or every 4 months. And hopefully every few months you should see some visible changes. So if you've got any questions or comments, drop them down in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.